Hello there and welcome back to another Pokemon type video. In this video we're looking at the ground type Pokemon in the Scarlet and Violet base game, so the pokedex. Starting off with number 53, which is Wooper, the poison fish Pokemon. This is the Paldean form. After losing a territorial struggle, Wooper began living on land. The Pokemon changed over time, developing a poisonous film to protect its body. And number 54, Clodsire, the spiny fish Pokemon. When attacked, this Pokemon will retaliate by sticking thick spines out from its body. It's a risky move that puts everything on the line. Next we have 122, which is Phanpy, the long-nosed Pokemon. This Pokemon lives and nests on a riverbank. After playing in the mud, it won't be able to settle down unless it washes its body. And 123, Donphan, the armor Pokemon. Donphan is covered in a tough hide, so even being hit by a car won't phase this Pokemon. However, it is extremely susceptible to rain. And then our next Pokemon is 126, Gible, the land shark Pokemon. It skulks in caves, and when prey or an enemy passes by, it leaps out and chomps them. The force of its attack sometimes chips its teeth. And 127, Gabite, the cave Pokemon. In rare cases, it molts and sheds its scales. Medicine containing its scales as an ingredient will make a weary body feel invigorated. And 128, Garchomp, the Mach Pokemon. It is said that when one runs at high speed, its wings create blades of wind that can fell nearby trees. Next we have 148, Diglett, the mole Pokemon. It lives about 1 yard underground, where it feeds on plant roots. It sometimes appears above ground. And 149, Dugtrio, the mole Pokemon. Its 3 heads bob separately up and down to loosen the soil nearby, making it easier for it to burrow. And then next we have 151, Numel, the numb Pokemon. Magma of almost 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit courses through its body. When it grows cold, the magma hardens and slows it. And 152, Camerupt, the eruption Pokemon. It lives in the crater of a volcano. It is well known that the humps on its back erupt every 10 years. And then next we have 168, Barboach, the Whiskers Pokemon. Its 2 whiskers provide a sensitive radar. Even in muddy waters, it can detect its prey's location. And 169, Whiscash, the Whiskers Pokemon. It is extremely protective of its territory. If any foe approaches, it attacks using vicious tremors. And then next we have 244, Toadscool, the wood-ear Pokemon. Toadscool lives in muggy forests. The flaps that fall from its body are chewy and very delicious. And 245, Toadscruel, the wood-ear Pokemon. These Pokemon gather in groups and form colonies deep within forests. They absolutely hate it when strangers approach. And then 265, Hippopotas, the hippo Pokemon. It shuts its nostrils tight, then travels through the sand as if walking. They form colonies of around 10. At 266, Hippowdon, the heavyweight Pokemon. It is surprisingly quick to anger. It holds its mouth agape as a display of its strength. And then 267, Sandile, the desert croc Pokemon. It submerges itself in sand and moves as if swimming. This wise behaviour keeps its enemies from finding it and maintains its temperature. And then 268 is Krokorok, the desert croc Pokemon. Protected by thin membranes, their eyes can see even in the dead of night. They live in groups of a few individuals. And 269, Crocodile, the intimidation Pokemon. After clamping down with its powerful jaws, it twists its body around to rip its prey in half. And then next we have 270, Silicobra, the sand snake Pokemon. Silicobra's neck pouch, which can inflate and deflate like a balloon, gets more elastic each time Silicobra sheds its skin. At 271, Sandaconda, the sand snake Pokemon. It will expand its body as much as it can and then contract itself, blasting out sand with enough force to wash away a dump truck. And then next we have 272, Mudbray, the donkey Pokemon. This Pokemon covers itself in mud that it has regurgitated. The mud won't dry out, even if it's exposed to the sun for a long time. And 273, Mudsdale, the draft horse Pokemon. This Pokemon has been treasured not just for its physical labour, but also because it produces high quality mud used for making pottery. And then next we have 316. Larvitar, the rock skin Pokemon. Born deep underground, this Pokemon becomes a pupa after eating enough dirt to make a mountain. And 317, Pupitar, the hard shell Pokemon. This pupa flies around wildly by venting with great force the gas pressurized inside its body. Next we have 322, Sandygast, the sand heap Pokemon. If it loses its shovel, it will stick something else like a branch in its head to make do until it finds another shovel. And 323, Palosand, the Sand Castle Pokemon. The terrifying Palossand drags smaller Pokemon into its sandy body. Once its victims are trapped, it drains them of their vitality whenever it pleases. And then next we have 328 Gastrodon, the Sea Slug Pokemon. I only have its East Sea form. They normally inhabit rocky seashores, but in times of continuous rain, they can sometimes be found in the mountains far from the sea. And then next we have 376. Which is Great Tusk, the Paradox Pokemon. Sightings of this Pokemon have occurred in recent years. The name Great Tusk was taken from a creature listed in a certain book. And then next we have 381 Sandy Shocks, the Paradox Pokemon. No records exist of this Pokemon being caught. Data is lacking, but the Pokemon's traits match up with the creatures shown in an expedition journal. And then 382 Iron Treads, the Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon closely resembles a scientific weapon that a paranormal magazine claimed was sent to this planet by aliens. And lastly, 395 Tinglu, the Ruinous Pokemon. The fear poured into an ancient ritual vessel has clad itself in rocks and dirt to become a Pokemon. And that is every ground type Pokemon in the Scarlet and Violet base game and the Pokedex. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.